Back at it. Creative Drive. And tonight, this evening, talking about breaking generational patterns. This one it's like it's a wild topic for me because I see a lot of generational patterns, negative generational patterns, and like a lot of my friends, like my whole damn near whole friend group, you know what I'm saying? Some conversation we've had, you know. For me personally, one of the biggest things, generational patterns, I would like to break is that whole thing of you can't be a children's friend. My belief is you can be a children's friend. In any friendship, there are boundaries that can't be crossed. You know what I mean? You gotta be able to set the boundaries and expectations of any friendship, including that with your kids. You know, I tell Nashi all the time, you know, it's like, look, I could be your best friend or I could be your dad. You know what I mean? Like, be your best friend and your dad, or I could just only be your dad. That just depends on, you know, what duty calls for. Because if you on your shit and you on point, shit, I could be your best friend and your dad. But if you not, then you might not like me that much. Then I'm just in dad role. I just got my dad hat on. You know, I think this hat's considered a dad hat. They only call these shits dad hats now. So, you know, that's the one. You know what I mean? And like a communication, actual relationship and communication. You know, understanding that, you know, your kids, they're humans, they're people with emotions and points of view and personalities, you know, and they need room for expression, you know. Of course, you know, gotta be respectful. I also feel a pattern to break is like respect is a two-way street. You know, it's not only for the young to respect their elders. The elders also have to respect the children. You know, you have to respect, they have to know that they're respected. Because if they're not respected, it'll be hard for them to respect you. They have to know that they can express their opinion. Because you can better deal with their opinion if they express it rather than hold it in. If they hold it in, you won't even know what you're dealing with. You won't know how they feel. And at that point, how real is the relationship? At that point, they're just pretending to be who they have to pretend to be in order to keep the peace, the status quo, you know. Now, in the short term, it's easy to just, you know, don't do what I do what I say, I am fifth. Now, it makes parenting easier, so you don't have to have those tough conversations. You don't have to deal with the debates or the difference of perspective, you know. If you want to raise somebody that's going to be an adult with their own mind and a thinker, you know, someone who won't feel uncomfortable around authority, You know, you got some people, anytime there's any sense of authority around, they just completely bend the knee. You know what I'm saying? There are times you have to yield to authority, but authority shouldn't cause you to go into a shell either. So I feel as though giving your kids the freedom to express how they think, giving them the freedom to develop their own thoughts and ideas, about the world, and to challenge you. Because for the first, 18 years of their life, you are the utmost authority in their lives. So if they feel comfortable challenging you and know how to do that in a respectful way, know how to have that discourse when they disagree with your perspective, when they try to negotiate with you on a punishment or a consequence or a curfew, it starts there. Otherwise, they're going to go out into the world and anything they're told, they're just going to fucking do it because that's what they're used to dealing with when it comes to authority. Or, on the complete opposite end, they're going to have a total disregard for authority. You want to find that middle ground, But yeah, a lot of these thoughts are in real time and just me exploring them, in real time, like off the, like fresh thoughts. So I do want to get back to some of these topics in the future because there's a lot more to, delve into. So yeah, I'm pulling up to the gym. It's Creative Drive. Feel Black. Peace.